Excellent.
Okay, so while at CES 2020, I checked out the virtual pinball, the 3D pinball, digital pinball, whatever you want to call it. And I want to go over a couple differences of those. I did get some interviews with some of the representatives. They're going to answer some questions. But first, let me talk a little bit about the differences on these machines. Number one, Star Wars is going to come, well, Star Wars and Attack from Mars is supposed to come with 10 titles, 10 different games. Now, the Star Wars is supposed to be mainly 10 titles of Star Wars titles of pinball. Don't know what those are. They didn't list them. And I'm not even sure what the Attack from Mars is going to come with, what Bally's Midway titles. With the Toy Shock comes with 12 titles. I was able to play some of those, and I have a little bit of footage of that, which I'll show at the end. And I will also give you my opinion of these virtual pinball machines at the end as well. One of the major differences I know that you notice right away when you see these is the depth of the screen inside the frame of the pinball. The 1-ups, it's fairly deep, a few inches from the top, and it does give you a different feel for the game and how you're playing it. The Toy Shock screen is basically flush with the top, and kind of more maybe what you've seen in other virtual pinball games. So not sure why the screen is so deep in the 1-ups. You may say, oh, well, you know, the targets in real pinball, you know, they have tall, so the scenes, it sits deep in real pinball, you know, because you got to hit targets that have some height to them. It's different in virtual pinball. I'm not sure that's what you want is the depth, but, you know, maybe if you got used to it, it wouldn't matter. Now, I could only watch a little bit of people play. They only let a couple people play, like Retro Ralph and Cool Toy, and some other people were doing TV commercials or what have you, so you could see them a little bit play. But I did get to play the Toy Shock, and I do have a little bit of footage of that. And I'm going to give you my opinion of virtual pinball at the end after these interviews. So let's take a look at these interviews, and then we'll talk a little bit more. Okay, we're here with Coy from Arcade 1-Up. I'm going to ask him a few questions about the Attack from Mars and the Star Wars 3/4 scale digital pinball. Can you first tell me, do you have any other future pinball machines coming out, any other brand name or designs for the 3/4 scale arcades?
So we're really excited about these two models. We're really excited about our initial launch, and because of this, we're going to see there's definitely a future, we feel, in the digital pinball space. We love to be able to branch out, but everything is in the state of conception at this point.
Now, one of your competitors is Toy Shock, right?
We have no, yes.
Okay. Can you differentiate your machines from them and tell us why yours are better than Toy Shock's?
Well, Toy Shock makes a really excellent product. We're not going to deny that. What we're really excited about is that we are 100% licensor approved. We have partnerships with both Zen and all of the companies that make each table. Bally and Midway are directly involved every day with our table, whereas Toy Shock, unfortunately, is not. So these are an official design, and they are taken directly from the original tables and digitized, so it is a much closer to real experience.
Now, can you touch on the price point of these machines? Can you give us a range, a ballpark of what it's going to cost the consumer?
We do not have a final price, but I can say it's going to be a more premium product in the $500 to $600 retail space. Still, though, about a third of the price of any pinball table you can get on the market.
Okay, excellent. Okay, we're with Mike here from Toy Shock, and we're taking a look at the digital pinball here, basically 3/4 scales. Can you tell us a little bit about the types of games you have, any future games, and which ones are out right now and will be ready for sale?
Right now we have 12 Gottlieb tables, classic ones that exist in real life. And we're going to come out with a second model in about 6 months. We'll add 6 more Gottliebs that have DMD screens. So right now these are alpha-numeric tables. And the DMDs will come out, and there's going to be 24 tables on that.
Okay, now, most people are familiar with the Haunted House title. What are some of the, I see Bone Busters. What other title?
We got Black Hole, which is a lot like Haunted House. I'm trying to think what else. It's hard to go off my top of my head. Let me look. Big Shot. Yeah, class of 1812. Yeah.
Now, here's the question. Obviously, Arcade 1-Up is getting into the digital pinball industry. What differentiates your product from theirs, and why would a consumer want to buy your product over theirs?
Well, ours has Gottlieb. I believe they're doing some Williams tables. I'm not exactly sure, so it's definitely different.
Bally's Williams.
I believe our price range is a little bit lower, so it's easier to break into it with ours.
Okay. Can you talk about what is your price range? Because I know they're not saying over at Arcade One Up what their price range is going to be. They're going to say somewhere between 500 and 600 for now, maybe 500, 700. I've heard. What's your price range?
$399 available right now.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. Any other plugs you want to give for Toy Shock?
Toy Shock's the greatest. Available right now on Walmart.com. $399. 12 Gottlieb tables. You need it.
All right, you heard it first here at the CES 2020. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay, now you may have noticed some aesthetic differences, such as the plunger on the Toy Shock, as well as maybe the bezel color. There was a black one on the Haunted House. I call it a bezel, but it's the metal frame that goes around the top side of the pinball machine. You also should have noticed that the Star Wars and the Attack from Mars had what is considered a DMD, even though it's more like a mini LCD, but we'll call it a DMD. And the Toy Shocks did not. Now, the guy did say at the Toy Shocks that they would have DMDs coming in the next version of their machines. What I did want to talk about is the play. I was able to play, like I said, the Toy Shock, not the 1UP versions, but I did press the buttons on the 1UP. I did reach over the railing and press the buttons, and the solenoids, the buttons, it feels great on both. They feel like you're playing a machine. The gameplay. I noticed that the gameplay on the Toy Shocks was a little slow. The ball moved a little slow. Now that really doesn't matter if that's the type of pinball it is. It's just, it goes a little slower. He did say they're trying to speed up the pace of the ball while you're playing and see if they can make some adjustments to the speed. Now, I wasn't able to play the 1UP to compare, but I did speak with Retro Ralph, and he did say that the gameplay was very similar. He actually used a term, feels like the ball is floating, kind of. And yeah, it's a good term. It does feel a little bit different when you hit it. And if you compare these virtual pinballs to the expensive ones, they don't play the same. Those $1,000 real size virtual pinballs, they don't play the same. The ball, like I said, moves slower. And when you hit the ball, it almost seems like it picks up a little speed as after you hit it. It goes and then it picks up the speed. You don't really get that bounce like you do on a real pinball machine or even on some of these expensive virtual pinball machines. Nonetheless, very fun to play, very addicting, and you can't go wrong with these machines. So if you do get one of these, and you've never played virtual pinball, don't think that, it's going to be just like playing real pinball. It's different, but it's fun, and it's a great product. Both of them seem to be really great product. I have more videos coming about CES. I have one in particular that I really want to do really quick, and it's going to be about the Silver Strike Bowling and the Big Buck Hunter. I want to talk about those in my next video, so don't forget to subscribe. More videos coming out hopefully as soon as I can do it. Thanks for watching.